So this is from people from Joliet. So if you're not from Joliet, you can go ahead and scroll down, right? So as we've seen, you know, they're going to tear down the old Gompers junior high. You know, they build a new section, so it's going to be all new and stuff like that. And a lot of the comments are like, you know, reminiscing of the good times and just talking about, you know, how sad they're going to be that it's going to be turned down and stuff like that. I myself, even though there were some good memories, there also were some bad, horrible memories in that school. Now, if you're sensitive to words, I do warn you what I'm about to say and the language I'm about to use might offend some people, but that was the harsh reality of attending to that school. I came to the States back in 2001, and that was the school that I was enrolled into because it was one of the few schools in the area that had a ESL program, you know, meaning English as second language, right? Because I didn't speak no English. And when I'm telling you the amount of bullying that went there for me and for a few people like me, it's crazy, it's insane. First, we got bullied because we didn't have no name brand stuff. You know, we was rocking shoes from Walmart or Kmart. And you gotta remember, somebody just came from Mexico. Like, just the fact of going to the store, getting some new shoes and stuff like that, new clothes, like, it's a W, you know, regardless of where it's from. Like, you don't even know about brands, nothing like that. Like, that's how I was when I came here. You know, I didn't know, like, you know, the basic brands, Nike, Adidas, stuff like that. But, you know, you never had them, so you never cared for them like that, you know? You're just happy that you have some shoes. So that was one. And then the other one is, when you try to practice your English, people will laugh at you. Like, he can't do it right. You know, he's a dumbass, he's an idiot. You know, and it was like, that just encouraged you from learning English, because it's like you're practicing, you're trying to, but yet, you know, because you pronounce certain words wrong or because you can't get the pronunciation properly, it's like they're gonna clown you for that. But the biggest one, and here comes the trigger warning, is being called slurred names. Like, the first time I got called a bracer, a wetback, a spic, a border hopper was there. And it was crazy to me is when I heard the word bracer, like, I knew what it meant because my grandpa, he was a bracer, he was a bracero. You know, he came, I think it was in John F. Kennedy days, where he came to work on the fields and then he would go back home and then come back and work on the fields. So that's what a bracer was. That's what I thought it was. What I came to find out here is that's what they call Mexicans that just came from Mexico. And they don't use it in a enduring, powerful term like I knew it because of my grandpa. You know, they use it in the sense to tear you down because you're from Mexico and you're not from out here. So in a sense, like, yeah, I'm kind of glad that, you know, that thing is going down. And at the same time, it's like, it made me remember all those crappy things that I had lived for, you know. But at the same time, I'm grateful I did, because it toughened me up to where, like, even now, like, with everything's going on with the country and how people are being racist, I'm like, you know what, I went through it, I lived it. So for me, it's just a regular Monday. I'm not gonna be shocked by being called a spic, a bracer, or a wetback or any of that, because they already did that to me when I came here. They already told me that to go home. They already told me all that crap. I already heard that stuff. And you know what's crazy? I didn't hear it from a white person. I heard it from people from the same skin color as me. Let that sink in. So in a sense, I'm glad that went through, but in the sense too, it's kind of harsh, you know, for a 12-year-old to go through it, you know, and live all that stuff. And again, this is not a sad story. This is just to, you know, shed light on some of the things that were happening in that school, and even talking to a few other people, like, they went through similar things as we were going, and then also, like, you know, other things that, you know, we didn't speak up about, you know, and came to realization, like, we all were in the same boat, we just didn't know it. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that school. And, you know, what cracks me up out of the whole story is those people that called me names and stuff like that, later to find out, like, their parents were just like me, you know. It's interesting. And if you're one of those people that did that to me growing up, hey, I forgive you. You do what you do, boo-boo. But, you know, it is what it is.